A narcissist will wear your traits until they fade and move on to the next reflection. Like, bro, sis, how often and how many times have we seen the narcissist jump from circle to circle, pretend to be this person and that person and doing this thing and that thing? I can't tell you how stressed out I would get, trying to keep up with this, with how the narcissist will move like this. The need to be validated by so many people and so many things. They have an identity crisis on permanent mode. To be honest with you, like it's on permanent mode. They just gotta be seen. They gotta be a part of, and the FOMO. Oh man, the FOMO. I just really want you. I just want to emphasize to you. They have an identity crisis. They do not know who they are. They'll pretend to be that individual, that person, to come off as such so that you can receive the traits, so you can perceive the traits of said individual, but don't be built like that. Don't be cut like that. Ain't about that. None of that whatsoever. The narcissist. But they do a good job at like convincing you though. They do a good job with holding that damn mask up and making you feel as if, they are who they say they are. Oftentimes enough, it's very confusing because it's so convincing. And the reason why it's so convincing is because they've been doing it forever. Imagine meeting somebody who's been pretending to be whoever they needed to be since they were younger. The person that pleases you, the person that says the right thing, the person that does all these things, but the actions never line up. The narcissist has been doing this forever. That one moment they realize they can get away with anything, the moment that they decided to claim an identity that's not them. That's why when they get with you, you'll start to notice. You would think when you're in a relationship, of course, y'all kind of like mesh together traits or whatever the case may have you, but they really start to copy you. You know what I'm saying? Like I know it's part like off the chain, but it really start to copy you, and it's weird. And then all of a sudden, they're better at said thing about you, and you're not as good as they are about the thing that they just started to copy off you of. It's wild. Then they have to get the identity that's better than you, me, and whoever else, based off the leverage of that ladder of whoever's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoever's on that notch. And the narcissist competes like that. That's why they jump from all these circles. That's why they have to always be a part of. Always got to feel like they're doing the thing when they're not. They're not doing the work. They want to skip the work. They want to believe they're doing the work. You know what I'm saying? They got to believe that they're doing that thing that they saw somebody else do without doing the work. And in order for them to do that, they have to get around individuals to feel like that. That's the whole thing about them wearing your traits. They want to feel like that. They want to see it because they don't want to do it. They don't know how. Mirroring you, trying to figure out, oh, this is real love. Real love is too. This is a lot of effort. I like being mean. The narcissist. You know what I'm saying? That's how they be like, just that's just how they think, man. And it's just wild because it's so many times and so many nights. So many nights where I'm just sitting here like, what is happening? Why are you gotta be all over the place doing all these things? She be out the chain, man. But I digress. It's just like, why have to keep up with the Joneses on so many levels? It's so extreme for them to be perceived as this character that they've created, and this character comes at the expense of your mental health, your pockets, uh, you know what I'm saying, emotional damage, friendships, relationships with your family, trying to trying to trying to keep feeding that image to them that they're this, because people around them have been doing it for so long and they cannot get out of that, and they've been getting away without doing the work. That's why things tend to catch up with them after a while, because they'll expose themselves. More importantly, like let's just cut the bullshit and get this clear. They expose themselves because it's only so much you can speak of and not do. It's only so much before people start to see. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you hyping up, for instance, the new supply and stuff like that. But you're not. I thought this was the better option from the last supply when everybody sees that story. But if you're not keeping up with that said image, then it just, man, the narcissist is off the chain. The buffoonery to always try to make people think that they're empathetic, that they're emotional, intellectual, all these things, and they're emotionally intellectual. Sorry, but it's just all these things, and it's not. It's just they're just not like that. They're not the truest form. The truest form of them, for real, is oftentimes, at least in my opinion, is when you see them under their influence. That's when you really see the truest form of them. It's like, oh, man, this is the final four. This is Cell. You know what I'm saying? This is the final four. Dragon Ball Z reference. I digress. But no, this is like this. That's their truest form. Most of the time is when they're confident enough to do whatever and say whatever under that influence. That liquor confidence. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's wild, and it's exhausting because they'll try to get you to play into it when you go places. And we're not even just talking about relationships. We're talking about like family. You got to go over here and act like this in front of the family because they got to act like this. And they tell you to act like this when you like, why are you telling me to act like this? Telling me to act unnatural when you're not like, when you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of us can contest to that, where we be going to family members' house and they be like, embrace your cousin, embrace your uncle. And they be telling you to do this stuff, but they don't even do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But just to come off and show off that I got a kid that is respectful and polite, but they don't even be respectful and polite. I'm a dysfunctional individual pretending that I'm pretending that I'm teaching my child to be respectful and polite when I'm not even like this. Man, that was a rough one to say low key, because I couldn't even tell you how many times I'd be like, man, it's just no. Again, it's just wild about the constant shape-shifting, constantly trying to figure out how to get over on people, how to get people to act a certain way, how to get people to feed into the game. That's why they function so well with dysfunction, because there's a lot of other people that are dysfunctional that they can feed off of and get caught up in that world of this is normal. So their dysfunction is quite normal to them. Normal is chaos to them. It's scary. You feel what I'm saying? To be that peaceful at self. to be that peaceful at self and be okay with self. That is terrifying to the narcissist on so many levels. How could you possibly be that boring is how they think? You need to be thrill psyching and heart pumping and stuff. Narcissists all the time, always talking to you in this sense of, I'm always better than you, claiming this identity that where you're like, I just seen you the other day. We just all the time have to continue to always bring up these examples where they've performed outstanding whenever that was, and leverage that against you no matter what you do and how you do it. You feel what I'm saying? And again, the people they find does not make it any better, because they'll continue to blow that ego up in their mind. That's why when they bring that shit home to you, you're like, what are you talking about? You're a whole different person. You done went off to this party and came back and became a whole different person. All of a sudden, X, Y, and Z is wrong and all these things, and I gotta go do it. Y'all, man, bro, this is y'all. I already know. I be seeing the comments and I be like, I got it. I got it. It is wild. It is wild. The amount of, you can't sit still and be with yourself. Being with themselves scares them. It's so wild. Like, they can't just sit at home and just be cool and be chill and just be in their mind or read a book or whatever. They gotta be constantly doing something that will involve distracting their mind from themselves, because most of the time, narcissists don't even want to confront any of the things they've done wrong. That's why they pretend to be these different individuals and identify themselves in these different ways, because they can't even identify themselves for real, for real. It's scary to think about how messed up you've been. It sure is. Think about how many times where you've like, dang, I did something messed up. You know what I'm saying? You feel some kind of way and you want to do right. The narcissist cannot, that feeling that I just said, that you just felt, the narcissist cannot feel that. No. They will banish that emotion. Exile it. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. No. They need the thrill. They need that dopamine rush. You need to be distracted for as long as possible, as intense as possible. That's why when y'all get into these arguments, or when we get into these arguments with the narcissists, it's so intense because it's distracting them from themselves. You feel what I'm saying? It is. That's again, when they go off and play whatever hat that is, they really believe that. You know what I mean? Despite despite of them being a genuine person. That's why over time you'd be like, who is this person? And who, because they're trying to figure out who to be. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to figure out who to be here, and there. They can't just be themselves. That's why they get so mad at you and punish you the way that you are, because you're just naturally who you are and you fit in wherever you go. You feel what I'm saying? You just naturally like that. You don't have to be a certain way. The narcissist, that pisses the narcissist off. That's why they be talking to you crazy and shaming you and making you feel less than and devaluing your traits and skills, because your identity is you. They cannot compute that. You feel what I'm saying? They cannot compute that. So even often enough, and look, okay. they'll also adopt a version of themselves where, even with the new supply, again, they always know better than the current supply, always. But whether you believe this or not, like, the narcissist is trying to convince the new supply to be like you, but the new supply don't know that. But we didn't know that either. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to convince the new supply to be just like you. Trying to get you to walk, talk, act. trying to get them to walk, talk, and act like you. And that's another reason why, even with that identity that they're adopting over there, as they'll punish the new supply because they can't get the supply from you anymore, because they'll say in their mind it's the new supply's fault. The new supply don't even know. However, the new supply will know if they were the supply knew about you. But they won't know that you're getting punished for, cutting off the source between you and them. Trying to shift and shapeshift through all these identities, the narcissists, all day in their mind. And you wonder why it's so hard to talk to them, and they sound so confusing and off the chain, and so much in distress more oftentimes, because they're trying to figure out how to get the next, how to, who, where, that next dopamine rush. And it's just, it's crazy. They'll never be able to be at peace. They'll never be able to be cool and be chill and relax. Bro, sis, this is what I'm saying. The separation between you and the narcissist is that you are you. They are whoever it is they gotta be, need to be, and will never be themselves. They will always live in that chaos while you sit here still. Are you sitting here still, being you? They'll always live in that chaos, in fear of themselves, and running from issues and problems that they've caused. Yes, they'll run from these issues and problems that they cause forever. And then they'll claim that new identity. And that's why they act like the stuff they done never happened and or will never apologize for. You feel what I'm saying? Because the new group that they jumped into with that new identity has, you know what I'm saying, bumped up their ego so much. They don't, how dare they say sorry for what they've done to you that has caused you that mental damage this far and this mental scar that you are still trying to heal. How dare they apologize for that? You know who they are? They're the narcissists. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the I know I'm off the chain, but I just that's the ideology of the narcissist. That's the way of the narcissist, thinking like this. You know what I'm saying? Cannot compute how you are you and you're so calm about it. Cannot understand, cannot conceptualize, cannot fathom the idea of you being at peace, of you not needing to do the same things a narcissist needs to do in order to recharge, whatever that means. You know what I'm saying? Finding self, like you don't need to do all this stuff. Your peace is inside of you. The narcissist thinks the peace is obtaining all these things. It's not gonna bring you peace within yourself when you know inside yourself you messed up. It's just not. And they know that most of the time. You feel what I'm saying? That's why they continue to run. Adopt a new personality, run. Adopt a new identity, run. You feel what I'm saying? That's why they can't confront you the same way after the disconnect between you and when the no contact happens between you and them. When a no contact happens, they can't approach you the same way because their identity is it does not compute. You don't even get affected the same way you did when they would talk to you, when they know you was in that distress, waiting on their validation to relieve. You feel what I'm saying? That trauma bond, that they need to, I need you to take away this pain. Tell me you love me. You know what I'm saying? You know how it was when you was caught up in, you know what I'm saying, the triangulation and all that nonsense. You feel me? It's just understand this, bro, sis. Don't worry and stress yourself out. Don't let the perception of the narcissist displaying their invincible hero identity fool you either. Don't let that identity that they showed you fool you. That narcissist is in turmoil in their mind. And they're not going to be able to sustain relationships going forward. They wear people out. They wear people out trying to get them to pretend to be how they're pretending. No, people don't want to do that. Didn't you get tired? I got tired too. The narcissist wears people out and wears people thin. Straight up. It is exhausting to keep up with that. And the narcissist at some point will find themselves shape-shifting by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Creating their own party in their mind. Because everybody's gone, nobody's dealing with that. And this is just what it is. It's just a wild concept because you sit there and you really watch and you ask yourself, is this normal? No. Is this behavior normal? No, it's not. This is a person trying to find who they are in a bunch of other people without finding themselves in themselves first. And they'll continue this process for however long that's gonna go. So don't need to worry, bro, sis, at all, by no means, about how defeated you feel. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's an illusion within itself. They want you to feel that way. So don't be defeated. Don't be fooled by their new identity that makes you feel as if like you're missing out. You're not missing out on a damn thing. You're missing out on problems. That's what you're missing out on, bro, sis. You're missing out on damn problems that the new supply got. Issues and nights and sleepless nights. That's what you're missing out on their new identity. on their new shape shifting ability, wherever they're shape shifting at. That's what you missing out on. Problems. I'm gonna miss out on them problems. I sure am. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to miss out on those problems. Do you hear me? I promise you. It is. You have not said nothing slick to a can of oil. You feel what I'm saying? I missed out on those problems. I promise. It's just you just don't hold yourself hostage with this situation about you missing out on the narcissist because their identity of what they're perceiving to you seems to be so great and grandiose and grandiose and whatever the case may have you that it makes you feel like less than. No, they're just pretending because they've been doing it. You feel me? So I hope this message finds you well. I'm Fonzie Murph, and I'm out. Peace.